Is it possible for Black women to retire at 50, 55, or whenever it's convenient for you? I want to do a follow-up video to the video that I did before because there was some really good information in the comments. And I feel like when I spoke from my perspective. And I want to speak from different perspectives and things like that because I've been having some conversations with my friends and now I'm having conversations with you in the comments and stuff like that. So I think it's good. I think it's safe to say we can kind of like expand a little bit on this conversation. So I made sure that I wrote a few things down here because I want to make sure that I stay within reason of this conversation. First, we're going to talk about finance. Then we're going to talk about expenses. And then we're going to dive into expenses a little bit deeper and go into living expenses, like where you're staying, where you're living, rent, mortgage, and so forth and so on. And health insurance. I don't think I covered that part in my last video, and just some other little things as well. So here we go. Finances. Have all your streams of income intact. Because when you retire, you're not working anymore. So you're not exchanging your time for money and you're not giving the 40 hours to 60 hours and so forth and so on. And I understand that this is not cookie cutter. Every situation is different. Every employer is different. Every employer offers something different. Some employers don't even offer a pension plan. Some employers only offer 401k. Some employers don't even offer 401k. They just offer maybe 50% of health insurance and things like that. Not even for retirement. That's why you're working. Some employers don't even offer you insurance after you leave. Some employers, they do offer you insurance after you leave. So after hearing all the comments and seeing the different perspectives, it was like, hey, Kelly, you gave your perspective. And I was pretty much talking about me, like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. I don't have to live like this. I can just one bedroom shoot studio because my goal is to pretty much travel and live my best life. I mean, or just live my best life in general, however that might look for me. But I do know there's a whole bunch of other things that is carved out. So finances. Normally when an individual retires, and I'm not speaking from even though my background is in finance, I'm not speaking from a financial advisor. This is just us talking as girlfriends. We having some good camaraderie, and that's it. I'm not giving you no advice. I'm advising myself. But we're just sitting around and just having open conversation. This is for educational purposes only. So for retirement, you think about all the streams of income that you can have, that you would want to have. You think about your 401k. You think about your pension, if you can have one. So we're going to put that as optional because everyone doesn't have a pension. And then you can also think about your savings and things like that, or just some form of an income. Sometimes people have living insurance policies where they can get like monthly payments to them while they're still living. It's so many different things out there that people can have and do. I don't know much about that, but I do know someone that has like an insurance policy, but the policy pays them once a month while they're still living. And then whatever's remaining will be for, I'm assuming, burial cost or whatever that part might have been, a fixed rate or a fixed insurance policy or a whole life, something like that. Okay. So you want to think about all your finances. I know for me, I'm looking at pension. I was very fortunate that I will have a pension. And I'm also very fortunate enough that my employer, if you work a certain amount of years, they will give you full health insurance. You walk away with the insurance. Now, I haven't seen something like that since my mom worked with the union. For those of you who from New York or maybe up north area that knew about 1199, I think they still around. But 1199 is a union that was for like Bronx Lebanon Hospital or a lot of the hospitals That was like the thing. If you worked with the union, or even like now, if you can get in a with the union, you were pretty much set. You had to do the strike thing, or all the other nonsense that went along with it. But however, you were good. Like my mother is good. You know what I mean? Because she worked with the union. You know, you have your pension, your 401, you got your social security, all the different things. So now, what I was speaking about in regards to your streams of income, you can also work if you choose to. There's nothing saying that you cannot work. I'm just saying, for me, I don't want to work. If I'm looking to retire early, I want to live my best life, remaining of my years to the fullest as I possibly can. I don't want to. Now, if I have to, I will. I ain't going to, but we going to keep with the I don't want to. You know what I mean? We want to put that out there, out in the universe. In addition, I feel like if you're going to work part time to me is like 16 to 20 hours. Anything higher than that, you too close to 40. That's just in my opinion. You're too close. You're too close. But I do understand that some employers don't give insurance or the pension or certain things. We're gonna stick with the insurance. So individuals would want to work a part-time job just to at least get some form of healthcare benefits. But then I sit back and I think about it. You still exchanging time for money to get healthcare insurance. And I understand paying for it may be a lot, but it's like, how often are you using that healthcare? If now we're talking about being in good health. That's why it's good to take care of yourself now. That's why I'm trying to make sure I'm in the gym. That's why I make sure I'm trying to take care of my mental, my wellness, the inside, the outside, and everything. I heard a saying before. It was like in your 20s, you try to kill yourself. In your 30s, you're trying to figure out what's going on. 40s, you're trying to repair. 50s, you're trying to ask God for forgiveness. And in 60s, you just hoping for the best. But I really feel like I look at now for me with insurance. I go to the doctor twice a year, for your, well, once a year for your physical, right? And if you're on any medications or if you're doing anything where you're trying to monitor something, you may go twice a year or maybe 3 times a month, depending, 3 times every 3 months. Get it together, Kelly, depending on what's going on with you, because when I had my high blood pressure scare, it was definitely, okay, see you back in 3 months. See you back in 3 months. One time, like, see you back next month, because it was out of control. And once you get things in order and you get things where they need to be, it's about maintaining. Now, I know we don't know what life can hold. We don't know what's going on. Well, we can't determine what's going on. And we can't, we just can't, we everything's on a hope and a prayer, right? But we can plan accordingly. I look at how much money I spend in my paycheck a month for health insurance. And yeah, you may have to go to the hospital. You pay for the hospital fees. You pay for this. You pay for that. When I had changed my doctor, when my doctor had retired and I got my new doctor told me, I was afraid about the shutdown, right? And I was like, I work on government grants. If the government shut down, my grants get shut down. She said, if you need to come here, however much money you spend in a month, you won't have to pay that to come see me for one time. Even if you come see me once a month, it still doesn't add up to what you see me in a month's time. Yes, you paying for that one time you pay for your job, for your health insurance. That's my dog. She's going to town over here. But you pay for your health insurance. That's all for just in case. We pay a just in case fee. Yes, if you're on medication, sometimes you pay $5 for generic or whatever for generic. If you get in brand, you might pay a little bit more, so forth and so on. You got your eye plan, you pay I do feel like the I plan, optical plan, let me not say the I plan, the optical plan, that's like the most beneficial because when I didn't have the optical plan, I was paying 150 for my daughter and I had to get our eyes checked once a year. Meanwhile, I was paying like $5 a month just to add on. And you still don't add up to that amount. So that was the only thing that I felt that was good. But there's so much out there for people to use. And I learned this stuff by, again, working on grants, working in healthcare, working, on government stuff. You ever heard of financial assistance? If you've heard of financial assistance, leave it in the comments. Financial assistance is something they offer at your doctor's office, at the hospital. They rather you pay something than nothing. They may want an arm and a gallon of blood, but once that information is there, you'll be good. You'll be good. So sometimes I feel like we get so caught up in society norms and we get so caught up in what we're supposed to do for the economy, but rather not what we're supposed to do for ourselves and live our lives according to how we feel our lives should be led. So that's why when I speak about retirement, have your finances for you. Now we're gonna bump into expenses. Now that we have all our different streams of income and what we can do. And you can have IRAs, Roth IRAs, just a Roth. You can have so many. You can have all your brokerage accounts. You can have all your stocks and your bonds and all of that. Investments, your assets, your passive income, all of these different things. You can start a business. You can do whatever you choose to do for your finances. Just know how you want to live, know what you need, and things like that. I know for me, I know what my bills are for here. I know my bills are for here. But my bills will be significantly low if it was a different scenario. Why would I want to live robust like that? And I'm on a fixed income, but I can still live good and kind of robusty, but on a more fixed income. But when it comes to expenses, you look at your mortgage rent. If your light bill is not included, your water bill, depending on where you live, some of that stuff might be included. Um, Electricity, I said that. Food, toiletries, household products, entertainment, gas. If you have a car payment, car insurance, um, home insurance if you need it, renter's insurance if you need it, depending on where you live. If you have a pet, I got one. Got the dog food. You might need a vet. You think about all your expenses, and just having money to save, having, I mentioned entertainment, maybe some leisure money to do things that you want to do. Just write everything down. And you can look at what your life is, where you want your life to go. And I understand the economy definitely changes. Prices go up by the minute. So we have to allocate for that. We really, really do. So you think about that. Being in the retirement zone. Girl, I just love it. I just love it. I can't wait. I mean, not that I'm trying to rush to get older, but I I worked for so long. Like I worked summer youth. When you start summer youth at like 13, 14, like when can I stop clocking in? When can I stop clocking in? But living expenses, if you don't want to do what I just mentioned, they are also active living 55 plus environments. I know a few people, even here, that live in those environments. There's a really, really nice one where I used to work. Really, really nice. Active. I mean, I've never been inside, but from what it looks like, how it's developed, it looks really, really nice. Knowing me, I'm a social butterfly. So I would be like, yes, because they understand that you are on a fixed income. You're on a fixed income. Live within your means so you can still have a good time. Now, if I retire and I can still live like this and it don't interfere with nothing, I can still do, go, and come as I please without saying, oh boy, ugh, these lights, this heat, ooh, I need two floors, like one. Because I mean, my knees is hurting. They already hurt now. So I know by the time I get to the good age, I'm going to want ranch. I'm going to want apartment. I'm going to want elevator. I'm going to want ramp. Okay? Ramp. I'm going to want that. So I think about all those things. Now, health insurance, we kind of put that in there as well. We already talked about health insurance, but health insurance, I know for me, I'm very fortunate. If I was to start working right now and say I want to retire early or just resign or whatever the case may be, however they say it, terminate, I would be okay because my job would give me health insurance. But I did not incorporate that in my last conversation that we had about this because I'm just so gun ho on, just living your life. I feel like life shouldn't have to be about working every day. Yes, we know we need money to live life. And I feel like sometimes people get so caught up in the worth ethics, doing this, being busy, da, 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 and that becomes their whole identity. Yeah, they still may have fun. They still may go out, live their life, travel, have a good time, have a good friendships and this, that, and the other. But in all reality, when it all boils down to it, their identity is their job and how they represent themselves in the workplace and how they represent themselves in public about the workplace and the kind of career woman or man they might be. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Do I do good for myself? Yes. Am I okay? Yes. But I don't, my, what I do for a living is not my identity. I'm very grateful, but it's not my identity. It is so not. I don't even really want to talk about what I do for a living. I say I work in finance. Because it's so much more. It's just so much more. Oh, it's so much more. I did a video about just Black women going on solo dates, treating yourself. And I was just saying how grateful I am to just have a progressive mindset and not being stuck in a mindset of the olden days. Like, I'm excited to see where we can go from where we came from and where we are today. I just love it. But I did write a few things down. The purpose of, is early retirement even possible? It's just being able to be free. I'm not against working, working a couple of hours here and however that might be. However that might be. Because it keeps you active. It keeps you active. It keeps you involved. It keeps you young and active. You're in the mix. So I get it. But you're doing things on your terms. You're not working the 40 hours, the 50 hours, the 60 hours, the nights, the weekends, and all the things. I'm using my laptop as light. So I keep being a mixologist over here. Yeah, but just doing things on your own terms. Yes, sometimes society can get the best of us because we get so caught up in the way that we have been living. Do I love the way I live? Yes, I do. Do I like nice things? Yes. Do I like today I went out on a solo date. This video I was telling you about that I recorded already. And I loved what I did. I love sitting there. I love being in environments like that. Being in environments at any time of the day that I want to. Not waiting till the weekend, not waiting till the evening, not waiting that I take a day off. No, but we are so caught up in what society has built, society norms, and we are caught up in these good, pretty golden handcuffs. We are. But yeah. But I want us all to have the best life, the best retirement, especially us women over 40. I just feel like we've done so much. Working, taking care of kids, being a wife, a girlfriend, however that might be, just dealing with life. I feel like early retirement is possible. Now, will things change within 10 years, 5 years? Shit, it might change in the next year, the next month, the hour. But I feel like sometimes you just have to just do what's best for you. And I was watching this lady, and sometimes you can have your mindset on something. Have you ever been thinking about something or talked about something, and all of a sudden it shows up on like your Facebook or the next ad that you might see on something? I never spoke this out loud, but I was just thinking about, wow, I've been thinking about retirement, just different things for myself as I'm approaching 50. And I've been thinking about these things even before 50, but I've just been in this mindset. And this lady popped up on my Instagram and was like, don't be making these crazy decisions when you get to a certain age. And sometimes we think that we invincible. I was like, oh God, negative, negative, negative. Loser, loser. But I do get it. I feel like everything in life is a catch-22. When you date, when you marry, when you go to the grocery store, I know that's two apples and oranges, but anything that you do, it can go good or it can go bad. I feel like when you make a decision, you say you're going to do it. If you say you're going to go work this job and you're going to work this job till you retire, you made a commitment. No matter what you go through, you're going to stay there. You say that when you get married, no matter what you guys go through, within reason, you're going to stay there. It's the same thing. I feel like when you get to a point in your life, it's just like, I know I want more. I know I want to do more. So I'm going to go do more and I'm going to stick with it. And stick with it. And then you find like-minded people just like that. So you guys can have a support system, do things that you really want to do in your retirement. To be focusing on retirement, but I'm just giving you analogies. But yeah, I hope I covered it. I hope, I elaborate a little bit more. I know you guys love these conversations about money, about retirement. I am going to, pop them in here and there and whatnot because you guys are liking them. But health insurance is a big one that I did leave out. I want to circle back on that one. I think about how much I've never looked into it. I never looked into it to see how much it costs. Like Obamacare or any of these, what is it called? Managed care, anything like that. Because if once you get like 55, I believe, is it 55? You can get Medicare. I think it's 55, 52. You can get Medicare. So I've never looked into any of those to see what the price are. I do know insurance is definitely high. It's high at the employer. So I know it's probably even double because you don't have anybody paying it for you. And you don't have that group discount by having thousands of employees to pay for something. But for those of you who may retire and your job does not give you insurance when you leave, think about all the other alternatives. Think about how many times you go to the doctor. If something does happen to you, what hospital would you go to? Do they have any financial assistance? This is what you call retirement planning. Thinking about things like that. Yes, you can go buy insurance, or if you don't have insurance, because there's a lot of people out here who don't have insurance. There's a lot of people out here that don't have insurance. They live healthy lives. They do what they're supposed to do. So when they do go to the doctor, they have a little kitty set to the side for that just in case. I got to go in. I got to have something done. There's a lot of people that go to the hospital who don't have insurance and they get all kind of major surgeries done and things like that. And they use financial assistance and things like that. Do not miss out on the good years of your life because you're worrying about something that society has put in place. Now, also, don't listen to me because we all have to do what's best for ourselves. Because right now I am in retirement planning. I don't have to work. You know how some people say, oh, I want to work to as far as I can go, 67, 72, whatever the case may be. To get $200 more, meanwhile, you could have been retired, lived your life. Now you this age and you can barely get out the seat. No. Mm-mm. No. So I think about things like that. I think about those things more valuable. My life, my my time, and all the memories I can make while I'm in good health and good standing, and my bones can still move, I can still walk and all that stuff. I think that's more important than me sitting here putting up with the BS at the job, trying to get $200 extra on the tail end. And then I really only see a year of it, but I'm so tired I can't even live my life because I got to sleep for a month so I can recoup from working 40 hours or 50 hours a week. I don't know. Leave the comments down below because I definitely want to know. I definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that. I know some of you are younger than me. Some of you are older than me. Some of you are at retirement age and you're still working or whatever. And that's to each his own. My mom worked until she was 62. She was 62 and she was out of there. I think for her to get full, I think Social Security, I think it was like $100 difference if she would have worked till 65. I said, my son on the dotted line, get up out of there. For $100? I'll give you $100. If I gave you all of this. My mother lives good. My mother lives good. Okay? You make the memories while you're still here. I don't want to turn motivational, but I want to have the conversation again. And I really like these conversations. So I think we might do another one. So let me know what else you want to hear about retirement. You know what? Let's get into like let's get into all the different forms of retirement in regards to like money streams. That'll be our next conversation. I'm gonna work on that one. It's gonna take some time, but we're gonna do it. Okay?